Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi on Sign Language. Mugalu Mohammed, let's take a look at the top stories tonight. Government warns those attacking security posts of dire consequences. Buganda road residents given food relief. While Otuke Governance Centre to create jobs for locals. And Minister orders for fresh allocation of Tororo market stores. Let's dig in. President Yoweri Museveni has said that it was befitting that Uganda should thank the Almighty God for the life and legacy of the former Prime Minister, Professor Apolo Nsibambi, who was a true embodiment of the virtues of integrity, discipline, honesty and patriotism. The President also said Nsibambi will always be remembered for his faithfulness to the call of duty, who exercised diligence in the execution of his work with humility and selflessness while serving his motherland Uganda, noting that he was steadfast on the issues of socio-economic transformation and the development of Uganda and Africa. This was contained in a message delivered on his behalf by the Vice President, Jessica Lupo, during a Thanksgiving and memorial service in memory and honor of Professor Apolo Nsibambi at St. Paul's Cathedral, Namirembe.
Three years ago, the dark cloud of death struck as Uganda lost a man of honor, Professor Apolo Nsibambi, ex-premier and leader of government business. At the time of his death, many described him as nationalistic, a family man, a man of impeccable integrity and strong values. The late Professor Nsibambi is not with us today, but would be continuously remembered because he committed his life to the service of humanity. President Yoweri Museveni noted that Nsibambi was steadfast on the issues of socio-economic transformation and the development of Uganda in particular and Africa in general.
I would like to appreciate Mrs. Esther Nsibambi and your children for preserving the memory and legacy of Professor Apolo Nsibambi. He will always be remembered for his humility and selfless service to his motherland, Uganda.
In her statement, Vice President Jessica Lupo, who was State Minister for Children Affairs at the time when Professor was Prime Minister, described the late Professor as a man who was frank, nationalistic, honest, patriotic, and one who loved everyone without any discrimination. A man of timelines while executing his duties.
I must say, Lord Bishop, that it was very easy to work with Professor Apolo Nsibambi only if you were a good listener. But for those who were not very good listeners, I think it was very difficult because of catching up with time. And also, he wanted perfect work. No corruption. He was free of corruption. He was a good mentor. Wanted to move with also young ones and also new ones in cabinet. Owechitibwa would tell us that in Buganda they say, Ogenda mpola mpola, otuka wala, bugubugu si muliro. Professor Nsibambi loved a united Uganda. That is the spirit we are celebrating today. And I want to thank the family for recognizing that and creating this atmosphere for us to come and share again his memories and again give glory to God in the temple of God.
She handed over to the family on behalf of President Museveni. In her words, Esther Nsibambi, the widow, thanked the Almighty for having gotten married to Professor Nsibambi. The Speaker of Buganda Lukiko, Patrick Luaga Mugumbule, described Nsibambi as a friend, mentor, and a transformational leader whose lessons still guide him today. The Thanksgiving and Memorial Service was led by retired Bishop Samuel Balagad II and attended by dignitaries including former Vice President Edward Kiwanuka II, Professor Mondo Kagonyera, and Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, among others. May the Almighty God bless the beautiful memory of Professor Nsibambi and grant the family the grace and the strength to carry on the mantle of his great legacy. Etole and Archangel, UBC News.
And government has condemned the ongoing attacks on armed forces by suspected thugs. This is according to Minister of Defence for Veteran Affairs, Vincent Sempijad, UPDF spokesperson Felix Kulaiji. They say those peddling the act are intending to sabotage the country's stability.
There is worry and fear from a section of Ugandans as the country continues witnessing repeated and calculated attacks towards the security sports and personnel in the country.
Yesterday, we finally got the thug that killed our soldier in Gaddafi. In the exchange of fire, we lost one soldier, and we killed him, recovered the 2 guns he had taken, plus UPDF uniforms, telephones. This was a deserter. He had deserted in Gaddafi, where he had been a weapons instructor. So we recovered our 2 guns, the 3 magazines he had taken, we recovered them.
The Saturday 26th November 2022 ambush of security operatives in Nakaseke district is still fresh.
Now last night, our patrol in Kapeka was ambushed by thugs. They shot, killed 1 soldier, we returned fire, both attackers were put out of action and we recovered the gun from them as well.
However, according to government, time for using soft gloves has now come to an end.
Evil minds are there, but I want to assure Ugandans that UPDF, the security forces of Uganda, the government of Uganda is watching and following up very closely. By the way, we have arrested some of them. We are already not only close, but we are with them. And I want to assure Ugandans that nobody is going to disturb this peace. The peace is a must for Uganda. We suffered a lot. We need to have peace in this country.
So our intention is to make sure that appetite for guns is killed. So anybody who has been eyeing our guns, prepare your will or your grave, because you will go.
How about the concern that the decision literally gives no room to first-hand information?
Interrogation is done by police. When you attack us, we return fire. And when we return fire, it's direct on the body. So, if people had hoped that we would arrest them and interrogate, sorry, you attempt to take our guns, we kill you. There's no compromise about it.
The government of Uganda, however, reassures the general public that all efforts are being done to ensure there is peace and stability in the country. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
Now, women in business have pleaded with fellow women across the country to be risk-averse, resilient and trustworthy if they are to succeed in business. This was during Women in Business conference aimed at empowering women to break barriers to trade, held here in Kampala. The First Lady, who is also Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, opened the conference.
Together, may we hold each other's hands in the spirit of sisterhood so that our growth is spread.
A team of women business leaders have held a discussion on entrepreneurship, access to local and export markets, credit and related opportunities for women entrepreneurs at a conference themed Breaking the Barriers to Trade. The First Lady, who is also the Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, addressed the women virtually and urged women in business to be resilient, patient and wise in their business.
Let me humbly request that through this platform, a strategy should be thought through to provide mentorship and growth opportunities for those women in small businesses who cannot access information and knowledge shared in spaces.
She urged women to mentor and support each for better financial dividends, disclosing that the recent research about women in business ranked Uganda women high in managing their business, followed by Ghana.
The 2019 findings indicate that in a group of 58 markets profiled worldwide, Uganda was ranked first at 38.2% of female owners as a percentage of total business owners.
The conference that was organized by Stanbic Bank and others was also addressed by Baroness Verma of Leicester, United Kingdom, State Minister for Finance in charge of investments, Evelyn Anite, and the British High Commission to Uganda, among others.
You're actually linking the women to the global market, as opposed to them concentrating in the smaller market and then they start fighting among themselves on the smaller numbers of markets. If they have bigger markets, then it becomes very easier for them to be able to get access to market and access to credit, and therefore be able to make it big in their businesses.
I think, one of the things that I've been so inspired by here in Uganda is just how many female entrepreneurs we have, actually. You can feel that they are the heartbeat of business at the level, and that's remarkable because we know that there are so many challenges that women face in business, actually not just here in Uganda, but across the world.
The executive director and the head business banking at Stanbic, Emma Mugisha, explained that promoting women's economic empowerment is one of the main issues Stanbic Bank treasures.
With non-financial products. So financial literacy is one, access to markets is another, networking is another. How do we create spaces for the women to find people that they can work with and connections that they can do? So this is really one of those spaces that we created.
Women entrepreneurs shared business tips and experiences with their fellow women.
For the women to break barriers in trade in Uganda or in Africa, but across continent. I know that she's moving these from UK to Uganda, and this is the first, and it's a great success. I remember.
The way women approach business is very different from men. They are less aggressive in terms of the risks they will take, but they have very practically managed all their risks in their businesses. So
Joseph Oko, UBC.
Meanwhile, Ugandans have been called upon to embrace the heart of giving, especially to the needy. A Good Samaritan, Kim Hee-yeon, said this while giving food relief to residents of Uganda Road Flats who say they have been struggling from the onset of COVID-19.
Otuke Business and Governance Center was constructed by Otuke District under the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda. The Governance Center of Excellence is designed
We apologize for that. Now, the State Minister for Northern Uganda Rehabilitation, Grace Trinchinyi, has asked farmers in Lango sub-region to shift from subsistence to commercial agriculture to eradicate poverty and attract processing plants. Trinchinyi was officiating the commissioning of Ilimi Farmers Hub and Otuke Business and Governance Center in Lango sub-region. Let's take a look at that story.
Otuke Business and Governance Center was constructed by Otuke District under the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda. The Governance Center of Excellence is designed with a modern and affordable conference space, craft display, and connected to water and boost of modern sanitary facilities.
In my view, all these facilities have been well put in place, well established by the partners, and they have been involving in a proper manner the different partners and beneficiaries. What I would suggest, though, is to make sure that these facilities are functional, fully operational in the coming weeks.
These are very critical in northern Uganda. We have seen a village market hub in Gulu. We have seen a farmer's store in Otuke here. We have seen a hatchery in Lira. We have seen a seed testing center also in Lira, in Ngeta. We have seen a program for involving youth, especially the youth reproductive challenges are going to be addressed. Now here we are looking at a completed governance and business center.
The 1.5 billion facilities is part of the Local Government Excellence Fund, a model adopted by the government and European Union.
Gearing towards social mobilization for production, for processing, for marketing. And so this should be a great input in our efforts to eradicate poverty in northern Uganda.
It's a grant mechanism under the good governance component of the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda being implemented by the United Nations Capital Development Fund.
And we are really working with the DINU implementing partners and the Office of Prime Minister to ensure that the benefits delivered with those concrete results under the DINU program will last longer and beyond the program, and will generate even more investments for the well-being of the population in northern Uganda.
Gearing towards social mobilization for production, for processing, for marketing. And so this should be a great input in our efforts to eradicate poverty in northern Uganda.
The Affirmative Action Program is part of the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda government project supervised by the Office of the Prime Minister, aimed at improving livelihoods in Lango sub-region. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Now, access to safe drinking water is a big challenge in Kyangwali sub-county in Chikube district, where that's where the majority of the population are accessing water from unsafe water sources. Let's take a look.
Kyangwali sub-county in Chikube district is in dire need for safe water, a situation that has escalated the disease burden in the district. Rosette Businje is a mother of 6, resident in Kyabalongo village in Butole parish, who says that they lack clean water, use the available streams and open wells, which is not hygienic.
Itwe turi kushaba ubuyambi, turi kunywa amazi mabi gakutugwariza abana dysentery hamwe na typhoid. Ati turashaba ubuyambi mu government ya NRM mu sektu yamba mutuhereza amazi marungi.
Benon Ngarambe, a father of 4 from Kyabalongo, says that mothers and children are the most affected by the lack of safe water.
batubiso kandi twahenda go kunywa tumanze twacumba eto nkabana rugo bararugahashumira hako kuruha bo butwijuke banyweye niho nareba n'imishwezi turi Kyabalongo twikaraho buri kiri hako kunywa amezi mabekagari tunengagaho kuboneza ebiro bibiri gabagasubire gasesike.
The Health Inspector Kyangwali Sub-County, Chiria Joseph, said a number of wells in the area are in a sorry state. He wants government and development partners like Action Against Hunger to come in and provide them with safe water.
Village, we have 3 unprotected water points where people are picking water from. We have another one that is protected, but it is completely down. It is beyond repair, a shallow well that is just adjacent to this water point. And even besides that, as a sub-county, Kyangwali sub-county, we had wanted to repair one of the water points around here, but unfortunately we ran out of funding.
The sub-county chief Isingoma Byabasaija says that they have tried to renovate or rehabilitate the shallow wells, but due to the limited funds, they have not been able to repair all of them. The Chikube district water engineer John Bosco Murungi says the water coverage in Chikube is 50% to 70%.
People, the borehole which is there is a borehole, but it has no water. It's a dry well. During the rainy season, water sources can be put on the ground, but automatically after a dry spell, it goes away. And people will begin complaining, we don't have water source, we don't have water, we don't have enough safe water. But the reason is, Kyangwali, as Kyangwali sub-county, it has a challenge. But as a ministry, we are planning for Kyangwali sub-county.
The nutrition focal person, Chikube District, Dr. Gerard Asaba, says that they don't have a nutrition officer as Chikube, which has also contributed to disease burden in the area.
Government has started on the application process to access funds from the Green Climate Fund to operationalize rainwater harvesting as an adaptation mechanism to climate change. Rainwater harvesting and efficiency is well catered for in the National Climate Change Policy 2015.
Climate change challenges are leading to continuous rise in temperatures, resulting in high levels of water stress in many areas, yet the demand for water is growing due to the increasing population. The government has now started on the application process to access funds from the Green Climate Fund to operationalize rainwater harvesting as an adaptation mechanism to climate change. The move is aimed at minimizing water shortage due to climate change.
Because rainwater harvesting is a huge resource that we already have. We have an amount of rainfall that is actually enviable by all other countries around us, and we are not utilizing it. Yet we suffer from water shortages. When we don't harvest this rainwater, it causes floods, it destroys our infrastructure, and then when it comes to drought seasons, we suffer from having water shortages. Yet, if we invested in rainwater harvesting, we would not be so prone to the impacts of climate change.
Rainwater harvesting will also make irrigation possible for the farmers.
And if we have this water for irrigation, then we can increase production, but we can also produce off-season, which means farmers can be able to get good prices for their crops and not have to have abundant production all at the same time.
It is also hoped that rainwater harvesting will save young people, especially girls and women, from moving long distances in search for water.
First of all, at homes, in African homes, we know that young people are the ones who do the fetching of water. So it's, if at all, as a young person, I am given an opportunity to harvest water, I will have time saved for me to do other things, especially school. I will not be going long distances. I will not be walking long distances to fetch water or going to a well to get water that is unclean, that is contaminated. It is, for me, health-wise, time-saving.
The current global challenge of climate change is continuing to threaten water availability. It is therefore critical that governments tap into rainwater harvesting technologies for climate change adaptation. Adiana Kote, UBC.
Ugandans have been called upon to embrace the heart of giving, especially to the needy. A Good Samaritan, Kim Hee-yon, said this while giving food relief to residents of Buganda Road flats who say they have been struggling from the onset of COVID-19.
Jesus loves me.
Over 300 families are living in Buganda Road flats in Kampala Central Division. Most of these are people who earn a living from petty business. The residents say they have suffered a great deal ever since COVID-19 struck the country.
And this is not the first time. These people have already supported us since the COVID time.
We appreciate the body of Christ for really showing us the typical love of God. We appreciate you. May God richly bless you.
A Good Samaritan, Kim Hee-yon, from the Embassy of South Korea, has donated food to over 300 families living in these flats.
I love Uganda, and I so much receive the love from Jesus. I want to sharing to Buganda Road. I want to introduce about Jesus loves everybody. We are nothing, but Jesus loves everybody, and I want to sharing the Jesus love.
To this, Ugandans have been called upon to take up the initiative of giving to those in need.
When we talked about Jesus Christ, he came to meet the needs of people, especially people who are suffering, people who are in need. And here as a church, we really see that according to the Bible, we have to take care of our neighbors and the community as a Good Samaritan. And that's why we are doing this, to appreciate God for what he has done to us as leaders and to the community as well.
Be a giver. Our God is a giver. Amen. He gave Jesus Christ to us.
Residents are grateful to this gesture.
I thank God because we have been in a shortage of food, but we are happy we have got food enough, and we love God. We know that in a few days we shall get more food.
The exercise today is actually divine in the sense that God has sent his representatives through Samaritans, good Samaritans from abroad, linked to some of the helpers from within to this community.
Donation has been timely, whereby people were also in need of support.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
And the Bishop of Moroto Catholic Diocese, Damiano Guzzetti, has called for strengthening of evangelism in Karamoja sub-region as a way of promoting peace. Guzzetti was officiating the Golden Jubilee celebrations of St. Kizito Parish in Moroto Diocese under the theme Launching into the Deep. Now, the Ministry of Health is in advanced stages of resubmitting the National Health Insurance Bill to Cabinet and subsequently Parliament. The National Health Insurance Bill was passed by Parliament in March 2021, but it was not assented to by the President.
Health is well placed as number 3 on the list of Sustainable Development Goals, and the declaration emphasizes that to achieve the overall health goal, countries must achieve universal health coverage and access to quality health care. It is therefore hoped that the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill, if passed into law, would act as a catalyst to achieving the universal health coverage. The country developed the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill that was passed by Parliament in March 2021. Unfortunately, it was not assented to by the President, alleged on grounds that some issues had not been reconciled, including the concern by employers that contributing for workers would increase their operational costs. During the 6th National Community Health Financing Conference, organized by Self Health Uganda, the Director of Curative Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Charles Oraro, maintained that consultations with key stakeholders to seal gaps in the proposed National Health Insurance Scheme Bill are complete.
The return of the bill back to the ministry has enabled us to be able to consult. We've been able to engage the members of Parliament, we have been able to engage the private sector, and I'm sure now that there is consensus. We will build a consensus, and I'm sure that many things which we have been able to get into a win-win situation. The rest of the other issues definitely will be in the regulations.
The Executive Director, Self Health Uganda, Frederick Makaire, stresses that if the country operationalizes the National Health Insurance Scheme, it will reduce on out-of-pocket expenditure on healthcare that stands at 40%.
As people who are promoting community health financing, we are very much behind this because we see everyday struggles that families go through in trying to finance healthcare. It is very costly for them. We know that, of course, there is free health care in government facilities, but many times there are situations when they go there and the services are not available, drugs are out of stock, so they end up actually footing the bill. But the unfortunate bit is that many times when they go to the hospitals, they don't have the money. So either they don't get full doses, they forego services, or they don't get the medications at all.
Opposition members of Parliament are in consensus that the country needs a national health insurance scheme, but emphasizes that supporting local manufacturing of medicines will make healthcare more affordable.
Had we been manufacturing some of these things, so you will find that a good amount of this money that we are putting together will go in procuring medicine, but at a higher cost. So Shall we have some of those other things catered for in the law that maybe we should start getting into these other areas? So those discussions we shall have, of course. When we are discussing, we are not alone.
Uganda is the only country in the East African region without a national health insurance scheme. Adiana Kote, UBC.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Or pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chance Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kawiye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologuma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Aveka Band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations, call 0785-961-910. Dress code Retro Style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash hands with soap, it means clean hands for all. This is a message from the National Hand Washing Secretariat.
Yeah. Sending money the old way.
Eh?
Wrong number. Sending money with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to access and confirm contact details in real time before you send money. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now. Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude. It's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold on much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say to register. Yes. Become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
Not mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. University students and other students of higher institutions of learning have been encouraged to remain consistent in the direction they are taking and use what is available to be successful in the future. Tweheyo James, the SEC Central Executive Committee, NRM, said this while sensitizing students about mindset change ideology.
Students from universities in and around Mbarara City and neighboring districts have been asked to be focused in their studies as they seek for a bright future. A member of the Central Executive Committee of NRM, Tweheyo James, said this while addressing students from University of St. Joseph Mbarara, Mbarara University of Science and Technology, Makerere University Business School, Bishop Stewart University, and Kyangwali University at Mbarara District Council Hall, Kamukuzi.
Young ones, especially from university and others, that you should learn to be consistent. When you are consistent, you may appear as a loser for the start, but even if you remain alone, at one point, the country will ever see that this is the person who is consistent, and you may even be picked without anybody knowing or expecting it, and you may find you are a winner in the future. So always learn to be consistent with what you are directed, or with the direction you are taking.
Teacher and Regional Coordinator, Patriotism Club's Office of the President, advised the young people, for those who think that it's wrong for old people to remain in leadership because there is no child without a father and a grandfather.
You don't have to kill your father in order to inherit his bounty. Let us support them so that they can show us the way, and when it is the right time, we shall take up the leadership. The most important is to learn from them what is it that they are struggling for, to sustain, to preach health and wealth.
Kamwine called upon the young ones and old people of Uganda, more especially those who think that it's not good for old people to remain in leadership because of external confusion.
And now the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, has challenged graduates to prioritize serving communities irrespective of their qualifications. Musenero was speaking to graduates of the Christian Childcare Program Vocational Training Institute, Mbale.
Christian Childcare Program Mbale has graduated over 700 students in vocational skills.
For the year 2018-2019.
The Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Monica Musenero, challenged graduates to prioritize service delivery to their communities. Musenero was speaking to graduates at 24th graduation ceremony of Christian Child Care Program Vocational Training Institute, Mbale.
Work hard. Don't sympathize with yourself. Don't just talk. Don't just be criticizing. Young people, get off social media and get to work. It is hard work. Whatever they give you to do it. Always be creative. Don't sit there thinking, oh, now I finished school, now I don't know what to do. Be creative. If you haven't found money yet to start your tailoring business, find maize and roast. You are going to determine the future of your families.
The Executive Director, Nathan Walyaula, cited the wage bill as the key challenge that the institution is grappling with, calling for government's support.
There are limited teachers in vocational training. We have very few of them. Most of the people who are giving us a service in that area are the people who are supposed to be working elsewhere, who are technical, but they are not teachers. So to get these people and retain them, you need a facilitation. The challenge is actually the paying of those teachers.
I'm happy about it, though I've still been skilled. So when I get enough funds, I'll do business.
After this, I'm looking forward to going for my bachelor's.
Uganda Technical College, Elgon, also graduated over 1,000 during its 9th validation ceremony, officiated by the Assistant Commissioner, Business and Social Development Education, Elizabeth Katema.
We call upon our employers to take on the technicians because for them they have the hands-on training compared to the ones that are managers that are trained at universities.
The principal, Uganda Technical College Elgon, Paul Mulima, asked the graduates to desist from running to the Arab world for employment, saying reliable information indicates that a number of youth have been mistreated or lost their lives.
Desist from going to Middle East for odd jobs. You are a class apart, and you do so only for specialized skills, please.
And as the country continues to experience increasing cases of child labour, especially in coffee plantations and tea factories, Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development Betty Amongi has asked Ministry of Agriculture to invest more funds in modernising agricultural production. This was during the launch of the social finance model at Kampala Serena Hotel in Kampala.
The ILO social finance model is now law.
The banks, not only just the banks, the microcredit institutions, all those institutions deal with clients, and we want to see that they mainstream child labor into their already current ongoing work, whereby, for example, if a loans officer goes to assess a client for loan, they have that eye lens to see if children are engaged. Be they in the field of agriculture, they have to have that eye to be able to see that the client is at the assessment point is not engaging children.
Also technology. If we are able to provide in agricultural sector technology of plowing, technology of planting, technology of weeding, technology of harvesting, I think largely would address the biggest area where child labor occurs. That's why in most developed countries, you will find one person in a garden, just the person driving that machine or operating the machine. And of course, a child cannot operate a machine. Even the person who is employing will ensure that it's an adult. You can see when you are using machine, you look for adults.
Now, the proprietor of Victory Covenant Nursery and Primary School has applauded the Ministry of Education and Sports for closing schools earlier than expected. Government, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, earlier this month announced that nationwide school holidays would be before the 25th of November. The move was to curb the rapid spread of Ebola virus.
gye buvuddeko gavumenti ng'eyita minisitule y'ebyenjigiriza yavaayo n'eragira amasomero gonna mu ggwanga okuggalawo nti okubayamba nga bo abaddukanya amasomero g'obwannannyini ku misolo egibayitiriddeko basobola
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Or pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chance Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kawiye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologoma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Aveka Band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations, call 0785-961-910. Dress code Retro Style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash hands with soap, It means clean hands for all. This is a message from the National Hand Washing Secretariat.
Welcome back. Now in business news, State Minister for Local Government Victoria Rusoke has ordered for the immediate reallocation of stalls earlier given to absentee vendors at Tororo Central Market for government to realise the over 20 billion shillings loan recently used on its construction. During her visit to the African Development Bank funded project, the minister was shocked to find almost half of the market stalls empty while others locked up. Yet several vendors continue to operate under makeshift structures outside the main market.
State Minister for Local Government Victoria Businje has embarked on a countrywide tour to monitor the operation of 12 markets recently constructed by government under the Markets and Agriculture Trade Improvement Program. While in Tororo, the minister first held a meeting with the municipality leadership to brief them about her visit in the area before making it to the multi-billion Tororo Central Market. It's here that Rusoke was shocked to learn that a group of vendors claiming to be market landlords had dragged government to court and won ownership of 117 stalls.
That they are landlords, and court to award them a ruling that they should own the first floor of 117 stalls, to me was wrong, and I'm going to make my report, submit it to the Attorney General, the lawyer of government, to also revise and take action. These landlords are not stopping here. They have refused to pay rent because court awarded them the priority, the ruling. They are landlords, they shouldn't pay rent. Against the policies managing our markets, there is no sub-renting, but these people have given out their stalls and are charging exorbitantly.
To her further disappointment, upon touring the market, the so-called landlords had locked up their stalls with padlocks.
I have learned that some tenants have refused to sign tenants agreements, and the policy is very clear. The moment you are allocated a space, you are supposed to fill a tenants agreement. I haven't confirmed whether they truly rebelled or whether it is out of laxity of our own staff, but we shouldn't just push them out because I understand some of them have been paying rent consistently.
This prompted the minister to pass a directive ordering the municipality authorities to immediately reallocate the stalls to the needy vendors who are currently vending under market shift structures outside the market. Of the over 1,700 vendors recently allocated these market stalls, it was also found that many have faulted payment of market dues, with arrears now standing at 130 million shillings.
This big project was purposely made to make sure our local people, the low-income earners, can also trade and get what to eat, to facilitate their children's textbooks, exercise books. Is very, very bad. That the owners are minting money from their colleagues by sub-renting to them. A stall which goes for 30,000 is 10,000 only is being sub-rented for 30, and the absentee landlord sits at home, does other businesses, and every month the colleague is giving him or her 20,000.
This equally pushed the minister to direct the town clerk to forcefully make the vendors pay their arrears for government to realize the over 27 billion loan used for this market construction. The minister's directives, according to the municipality leadership, is timely, pledging for support. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices. Get value for your money by choosing the right paint. With Global Paints, you don't just paint, but paint for generations to come. Make Global Paints a paint of choice and make your building a paradise. We have weather coat emulsion, undercoat emulsion, silk vinyl emulsion, flat emulsion, super gloss and high gloss. Global Paint, a reliable product.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Now, the annual Armed Forces Motocross race has been successful despite being marred with heavy rains. The race, which took place today at the Busika racetrack, saw the Ugandan team making podium finishes. The annual race is a competition between Ugandan riders and foreign riders, and all its proceeds go into appreciating the men and women in uniform.
A day that turned out dull with a heavy downpour that nearly halted the race turned brightest in the afternoon when the race kicked off in what many termed as the armed forces growing their relationship with the communities.
Impressed by the turn-up despite the heavy downpour all the way from Kampala to here. The fact that people braved the rain and came, we are so proud of you Ugandans.
It is really very important that investors like this one can think about such a theme where they need to thank UPDF. The whole thing was to thank UPDF, but also bring them closer to the people.
We are here, we have international raiders. First of all, me as team chairman, we've been promoting sports, and this is one of them. It's something that brings people together.
The soggy track gave most of the riders a challenge, but nevertheless the competition was stiff between the Ugandan riders and their foreign counterparts. Among the Ugandan riders that put up a good show on the race was Fortune Sentamu, Sav Oland and Asaf Mwebaze.
Race today, nete badde nyangulu ankuba ya ekisawe enkuba egenze netonya ekitufuukira ekizibu. Tufunyemu challenges kubanga pichi z'abaana nnya zifudde. It's only mine emazeeko.
For today's event, it has gone well. The boys have shown their talents. For example, my son Fortune has raced with the riders who ride across countries. He has really shown that he can compete with them. He has improved his pushing and he has really done well.
The Armed Forces Motocross race is an annual competition that emphasizes identification of talent and also gives an opportunity to local riders to rub shoulders with talent across the globe.
Good to see that we had a motocross event here today with many countries participating on different age groups, and I think this is very good for the sport of motocross. It will help us develop just after us hosting the theme event here. and we believe that this will help motocross to grow. And also the partnership with the UPDF is very important across the world, partnering to the growth of motorsport and motocross in our country. So we commend the organizers of this event, and we look forward to coming back next year to witness an equally enthralling championship that we have seen here today.
Grace Joyce Kemigisa, UBC News in Busika.
Now, the Commissioner Human Resource at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries, Mark Sereba, applauds Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperative for championing financial inclusion among rural farmers in Impiji and Mityana districts while officiating at the Financial Systems training session for the Samuel Gemo leaders at National Farmers Leadership Center, Kampiringisa. Establishment of village banks by the Samuel Gemo members will boost savings and trigger rural financial independence.
The Uganda Samuel Gumgo top leadership, who have been training in building a community sustainable financial system, have said they have acquired skills and knowledge of investing in agri-enterprises. With support from Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives, Uganda Federation of Community Credit Cooperative leaders said the gesture also is a boost to rural savings at the established Mau Gumgo's village banks.
Due to this training, I see it as an achievement that now you have been equipped with the necessary skills to recover all the loans that have been overdue.
Kyenfunye mu training kyenzirayo okusomesa ba members bange nti nno okusavinga sente kintu kirungi kijja tuyamba
enda kutambula nonye ba member bayingire mu giyaffe n'ebiwandiiko byennyini tugoberera amateeka.
Handing out certificates at the training closure at the National Farmers Leadership Center in Kampiringisa Mpigi district, the Commissioner Human Resource at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries, Maik Seremba, said investing in commercial agriculture is rational for rural economic growth.
So the message that I have is for these leaders to go there with a lot of commitment, with a lot of self-sacrifice, and with a lot of integrity of the highest degree, in order to manage these new village banks.
According to Samau Gumgo coordinator Uganda, Andrew Chepa, the training has imparted skills and knowledge to leaders on financial mindset change investments.
So we have been equipping leaders with skills to institute controls within their operations to ensure that they manage fraud, to ensure that they manage errors that can lead to financial loss.
Cost-benefit analysis, financial management, accounting, loan product development and digital financial systems are among the fiscal topics taught. Sudat Kaye and Robert Whiter, UBC News.
Well, that does it for news tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Magala Mohammed on sign language. Have yourselves a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
MTN presents Tugende mu Chika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday.